we've got a super chat or question over on Streamlabs, and this is an interesting one. Let me try and pull this up as reference because this is kind of just fun for commentary on. Right, okay, there we go. Damien Leone. This will make sense in a minute while I'm doing this. Right, here we go. Right. So the question is from Doug, 1985, and says, Mr. H, did you see how the left responded when Damien Leone, creator of the Terrifier films, they're replying to his X post by saying it's clear where you stand and your films are political. What the F? So I don't know if you know this, Bo, but there's these films called Terrifier, and they are horror schlock, right? They are intentionally grotesque, like chainsaws up your middles and just loads of it's. They're insanely gory, and they're meant to be like that because there's an element of sort of comedy factor with just how absurd the horror goes. And they've actually been hugely successful. Like they're made on a shoestring budget and they make millions of dollars, which, you know, good on them. Like they found something which is successful. But it's basically about a killer clown, a demonic killer clown. There's nothing in it remotely political. But Damien Leone, the writer and director, the creator, has posted this, and it's got 6.4 million views. And as you would imagine, people are going stupid about it because leftards are retards. So Damien Leone says, I want to make a very important statement regarding the Terrifier franchise in this ugly political climate we're living in. As most of you know, some of my cast and crew members have a very passionate political presence on social media with extreme and sometimes harsh opinions, which is their right. Amazing that he says that. I'm all for freedom of speech and expression. That being said, Terrifier is not in any way, shape, or form a political franchise. I did not get into filmmaking to become a politician or promote any political agendas or ideologies, especially through a killer clown movie. So absurd. I fell in love with horror movies as a form of pure entertainment, and those are the films I like to make. Since Terrifier 1, our cast and crew has and still consists of both Republicans and Democrats, and anyone is welcome to be a part of it, regardless of their political affiliations, as long as they're a decent human being. That goes for our fan base as well. If this doesn't sit well with any fans or cast, crew members, that is your right and I respect it. You don't have to buy a ticket and you don't have to work on these films. Thank you, and I recommend you don't let toxic rhetoric on either side of the political spectrum deter you from being a Terrifier fan. I think that's about as well put as you could probably get it.
I was just going to say, I don't even know the politics of him or the people he's talking about, but that seems like a perfectly reasonable statement to me.
Well, you'd think, wouldn't you?
Well, can I ask one question before you go on? Towards
Yes.
the beginning there, he mentions there's some people, what's he say? Some people that have expressed some opinions. Is he talking about like some pro-Trump, pro-MAGA people? Is that what he means?
Well, I think he's pro-Democrat and pro-Trump.
Okay.
Yeah. I actually don't know. Like, I've not bothered to.
But it's the leftoids that are going spastic about it.
Pretty much.
Okay.
Pretty much. So, yeah. I feel like this is in response to some of the LGBTQ advocacy that DHT has been standing up for lately on his platform, which would not make this response a great look. Playing both sides at the Mo just isn't a good take when one side is advocating for the rights and lives of, the rights and lives of minorities, and the other side is celebrating Sieg Heils and, for fuck's sake, and the splitting up of migrant families across the country. I love you and DHT and the whole crew, but right now, this response will only do more damage than good and cause a rift between the Terrifier community. It's definitely not, since I agree with this stance on that.
It's quite a funny response.
Who do you think Who do you think hires all of our LGBTQ cast and crew members? They're loved, respected, encouraged to work with us. Don't feel much love. Don't feel much like love and respect when you're standing up for a political party that attacks LGBTQ rights all day and every day. Oh, fuck, this thing just keeps going. It's so funny. But we'll just kind of scroll through this. Damien, man, I love you. I've always been a huge fan, and I love your work so much. Love the franchise. Love David and Lauren so much. I wish this just wouldn't have been said. Why? We need to speak out against condemn evil people that discriminate. Where have I missed? Yeah, that discriminate. A large following of the Terrifier franchise are the LGBT community. I'm gay, and I would never want someone condoning treating me like I'm not worthy. We love you back. Why would we condone that? All I'm saying is my team, who killed themselves bringing everyone Terrifier, is made up of both Republicans and Democrats, and this franchise doesn't promote hatred for either, as long as you're a good person.
This Damien, I've never heard of Damien Leone or the Terrifier franchise until just now. But he's coming across as a perfectly reasonable person. Right? To me, he's coming across as just like a normal, well-balanced person. Right? So, yeah, the whole LGBTQ cry-bully thing. Somebody in the chat said cry-bully. Yeah, it's bang on. It's like constantly complaining, moaning about any tiny little thing, because you've got one person in your crew that's like pro-Republican or pro-Elon or something. It's like they're now in danger or something, or it's a stain on the entire franchise or something. It's just bullshit, isn't it? It's just bullshit.
It's pathetic. Like if someone held is holding these opinions, they held those opinions whilst you were enjoying the product that they made. But now all of a sudden it's an issue to you because you can't separate your bizarre ideological political leanings from the art that you clearly loved before. It's retarded. Like, it's absolutely retarded. It continues further.
I do think, further than that, I think that whatever you're doing, if it's not political, there is an argument to be made that all things are political. But that's a bit of an esoteric political philosophy point. But if you're doing things that are essentially non-political, it shouldn't. I think it really doesn't matter what your actual politics are. Right? I don't care what the politics of my dentist is. Right?
Yeah.
I don't care what the politics of the person that made my shoes were. Right?
Well, we were just talking about fitness before we started. You can go down the gym. It doesn't matter. Like, no one cares what your political leanings are. When you're doing a bench press, no one's interested. No one gives a shit. It's not relevant. It's not important. It's completely outside the realms. There's no relevancy there. It's just bizarre.
That's why we hate. That's why we hate people like us. Hate people that deliberately do crowbar it in. Right.
Yes.
So I'm a screenwriter. I work for. I'm a writer for the Doctor Who or whatever. So I'm going to make and I happen to be a gay man. So I'm going to make everything about gayness now going forward. It's like, no, we don't want that. Nobody wanted that. Nobody's asking for that. That's not cool. That's not good. Yeah. I was watching a thing about Dave Chappelle the other day, just a YouTube video, in praise of Dave Chappelle. And the way he just talks about how the LGBTQ plus community or whatever in Hollywood or in his realm of stand up and making TV and films and all that sort of thing, they're over the last few years, perhaps the worm's turned a little bit now, but over the last few years have been they're like tyrants, massive cry bullies that everything has to be on their terms, their way. Any dissent, and they try and cancel you, or try and do a character assassination on you, try and make you out to be the devil or something, a danger to them in some way. And I think the world is coming to the end of its tether with all of that. I really hope so. Like the popular culture, the vast majority of normal people have just had it with that. They've seen that play out a number of times. and perhaps even in their own life. There's someone in their workplace, Dave, at your office, turns up one day in drag and is insisting on being called Marie or whatever, and you're just supposed to just accept it, and it's not madness, right? We and they're not mentally ill when obviously they are. So I think that I hope that this Damien chap and the whole franchise can just with just common sense, just sweep it aside, sweep it all under the carpet, saying no, we're not doing that. Like
Some of these, it just gets worse. Look, I
okay.
can understand not wanting to be outwardly political, but this is a situation where the other side is actual Nazis. Are they though?
Yeah,
Are they though? And I think it's a little wild to not be condemning of that. Even wilder to be hitting these thinly veiled remarks towards Lauren and David for speaking out. You don't get to bow out that easily. Sorry. Horror films, like all art, are political. Some more, some less. And even when an effort is made to have one be apolitical, that is also a political statement.
Like, you don't get to bow out that easily. How about you don't get to tell me how I can bow out or not? How about that?
You're in this,
Sorry.
even if you don't want to be.
Yeah, get fucked. One of the things, but that one above where it says actual Nazis, one of the points I try to make if I can regularly, is when people talk about Nazis, actual Nazis. It's like, you obviously don't know what you're talking about. Well, actual literal Nazis. So, German mid-century, the National Socialist German Workers' Party of the 1920s and 30s. An
That's
actual
it,
Nazi.
the SS.
What are you
infiltrated.
talking about? Nonsense.
They've lied in wait. They've infiltrated the deep state. What Elon's actually doing is trying to create a Nazi Mars base.
That's what I think. There are people on the right. There are actual like neo-Nazis, right? That they exist.
Of
That
course there is.
crazily, that is a thing. And I think
Yeah.
they're as sort of crazy, or they've lost the plot as much as one of these leftards that are saying there's actual Nazis. Like, no, there are no Nazis anymore. Like, that was a moment in time in the 20s and 30s. It's a very specific thing. To be an actual Nazi was a very, very quite specific thing.
Yeah.
And it's not around anymore. Every type of fascism will be different in every time and every place, right? A US fascism would be different to a UK fascism, would be different to a Burmese fascism, would be different to a Spanish fascism. It would, and in different times, there will always be different. So to hark back to the 1920s and 30s German version of it, it's just complete nonsense. It's like, it's not even high school level understanding of history and politics.
Those people are morons. They're morons.
Yeah, you're a moron.
They think they think having an issue with a character just being race swapped means that you're a racist and all this other kind of stuff. These people are idiots. They're imbeciles. Their opinions are completely worthless because they are. You're dealing with. They can barely scrape a brain cell between them. It's just they are just a joke. But yeah, I mean, it's just like, yeah, just kind of being dragged through this. Like, you've made it quite clear where you stand. Has he? Yeah,
it's made it quite clear he's about as apolitical as an adult man can be, seems to me.
Yeah. Would have been better if you hadn't said anything at all, yet you felt the need to get on here and shame actors in your film, because he didn't shame anyone.
Yeah.
He literally said it's their right to have an opinion. We welcome everyone.
This is why on Twitter I am a big blocker, right? I block loads on Twitter, right? I don't give a shit. I'm not interested in any sort of dialogue with someone that's being a snippy little bitch at me, right? If someone comes on and they occasionally I'll let it go, occasionally, or I usually give someone one chance. Like, they'll come on, they'll just criticize me, like take a piss out of being bald or something. Or take the piss out of something I've said. might let them get away with it once. But if they keep cropping up, or they keep saying just complete bullshit like that, I'll just block them. It's fine. I don't care. Like, oh, you've got 75 followers, and you're going to be, and you're going to keep popping up in my replies. No, block. That's fine. I can live without you. That's fine. I'm not interested in any sort of dialogue. I don't want to change your mind.
Sorry, are you follow shaming?
Yeah, I just did, didn't I? Yeah. Sorry, I just did. Yeah. But you must know what it's like.
Take your paltry 75 followers elsewhere.
You can't help it though. When you're on Twitter, right? You can't help it. You look at someone and you hover over them and they've got 280,000 followers and you think, oh, okay, fair enough. It's kind of a big fish.
Yeah.
You hover over someone, they've got 30 followers. You're like, oh, shut up, you little nobody, peon, little dirt grub, right? You can't help it. You can't help it.
Be gone. Oh, amazing. Yeah, I mean, this just kind of goes on, to be honest, like on and on and on. Coward, gutless, spineless. All art is political, including yours. It's not. You named the clown art. If you didn't want to make a statement, then you shouldn't have been a filmmaker. Oh, piss off. Yeah. Piss off.
The clown is literally... Let's see the film you made, bro.
Yeah. The clown, it's a killer clown. Like, it's a demonic killer clown that's just going around killing people. Like, it is like, the franchise is honestly about as apolitical as it can possibly be. Like, there really is nothing in it that, yes, is seemingly making a statement about anything, to be honest. It's just death and brutality. Like that's just all it is. And it's a schlock fest, intentionally so. This guy, well, we won't labor this point too much, but like this guy here, as long as they're a decent human being, I'm still trying to find one of those among 2025 Republicans. Either way, glad Terrifier can just tell a fictional story without being a mirror or propaganda. Thanks, Damien. But you're being what this guy thinks is a dick in your comment. Like, I'm still trying to find one of those among 2025 Republicans. Really? Come on now. The future of your country is now going to be determined by these people, and they want the best for it. Your lot have been leading it to destruction, demonstrably so, great levels of destruction, for a reasonably long time now. Like, your future is going to be demonstrably better off as a result of these people's actions that you have hatred for. It's just pathetic. It's just absolutely pathetic. Yeah. Never mind.
No, it is. There's just an endless stream of these people, isn't there? It seems to me. It's funny.
Yeah.
Well, there's way less than there used to be on Twitter. Anyway, on Twitter, I'm talking about way less than there used to be. It used to be completely dominated. Do you remember? Was you on Twitter all that much in the pre-Elon years?
Yeah, I was. I barely said anything because I was just like, I can't. I'm just gonna get like banned instantly if I say anything. I'm just not really gonna do anything.
Yeah, it's much better these days. But
yeah, massive. People can just say what they're like. Yeah, you can just say stuff. It's good. Absolutely good. You're not brave. You're being a centrist. That's how fascists win, mate. You wouldn't know what a fascist is if it came up and smacked you in the face. You're an idiot.
Let me see that again. Everything's political. Not taking a stand is still taking a stand. You're not as brave for being a centrist. That's like such a commie thing to say. Everything about that is just pure commie.
Side with us or your right wing.
That is the sort of person I would probably block. Or I'd probably have a quick look at their feed, see if they were saying other left wing commie. You can block him. And then just block them if they were. Because like, I'm just not interested. I'm not going to try and change your mind. Look, 172 followers, 81 followers. Classic. Peon dirt grub.
Brilliant. We've got a follow-up super chat about this from Kalechi for $2. Says, so sick of these progressives shoving politics into everything. Them whining and bitching, unbeknownst to them, is actually driving more hate to them. Literally the smallest group in the world, but are always the loudest. People are sick of this shit.
Yeah. Couldn't agree more.
Yeah. It's past breaking point now. People have had enough.
Yeah.
Like completely had enough.
With a lot of things, there's quite often a breaking point, and it can happen quickly. It looks like it's happened quickly. It's funny how the Trump win in November has been such a catalyst for it. But throughout history, which is actually in the scheme of human history, we're not even that far down a rabbit hole, really. It's got relatively easy for normal people and for governments to reverse all this crap. It's not like the Soviet project, for example. Take, for example, the communist Soviet project of the 20th century. For that to have broken and fallen, collapsed in on itself and been reversed in all sorts of ways, takes a generation, takes something approaching a civil war, lots and lots of civil unrest, countries falling apart, all sorts of things. Whereas hopefully this sort of thing, it's simply a case of the vast majority of normal people, reasonable, well-balanced people, just saying, no, I'm not having it anymore. I'm either just going to completely ignore you, block you. I'm just going to carry on with my life and what I think, and that's the end of it. I don't need to listen to you anymore.
Yeah, people have just like the pendulum has swung now. Like, get with the times, take the L. You've lost. Go, be gone. Shoo.